It was a few days before New Year's Eve 2013. I decided to go camping with my friend. He's 26, I'm 20. He's the real outdoorsy type and loves camping. I've never been before and didn't really know anything about it, but he convinces me it'll be fun and we'll make friends at the campsite. We're going on his Yamaha motorbike. I can ride, but haven't gotten my license. I have to pack the bare minimum plus booze and weed. He lives in Ballarat, so I take the train up and we ride down the forest where we are staying. Campsite is Lake Elizabeth, if you know it. Not too many people there on that day. 2 couples and their dog, a Bogan family with children, family of Asians. He says, don't worry, closer to New Year's Eve, younger people will arrive. At this point, I just want to go and find a place to stay in Lorne, but that'll be all booked out. We stay 2 days, next day will be New Year's Eve. So far, another group has rocked up, a bunch of 20-year-olds. They turn out to be all religious, and all they do at night is have a barbecue, not even drink or anything. At least I got a few snags off of them. Yes, I'm aware of how Aussie this sounds. Finally, my friend agrees that this place is fucking shit. We pack up our stuff, and just in case we tell the religious group to please save our spot in case other people come. We pack up our stuff, and just in case, we tell the religious group to please save our spot in case more people come. We leave and decide to try our luck in Lorne anyway, and if we can't find anywhere, we can always come back to Forest. We spent a few hours in Lorne, absolutely nowhere. We could try Apollo Bay, but it's already getting late-ish, and it'll probably be full too, so we ride back to Forest. The campsite is fucking full. The religious group are nowhere to be seen. It's like 7 p.m. now. We try and find a tiny place to squeeze in, but not even kidding, it's fucking full. Ask the Bogan family who was there when we got there and what the fuck is up with that. They tell us they come up every year. It always gets full right before New Year's Eve apparently. I'm so fucking pissed at this point, having a small breakdown too. My friend tells me to chill the fuck out, we'll just camp somewhere illegally, no big deal, he does it all the time. I'm a bit of a pussy, but we have no other choice. In between Forest and Lorne, there's some pretty dense forest, but there's no road going through it, so you have to kind of go around and then go off the road. Good thing his bike is built for off-road and on-road. Okay, so here's where it starts getting weird. We get about 2 kilometers into the bush when we find a clearing. We made sure that we knew what direction we were going on the compass. It's like 8:30 p.m. now. It's daylight savings, so it doesn't get really dark until 9:30. We put up our tent and shit. Can't make a fire because it's fucking Australia and it's dangerous. We eat dinner, smoke some weed, and we go to bed a little while after that. I wake up at some point. I have no idea what time it is, and I don't even know why I woke up until I hear it. Something is fucking walking around the campsite, and it sounds fucking big. There's also this foul smell like meat that has been in the sun rotting for a week. I'm frozen in fear at this point and staring at the entrance of the tent. My friend is fast asleep. The fucking thing brushes against the entrance of the tent. It sounds like it's sniffing. Suddenly I hear it leave. I'm frozen in my position for like 40 minutes before I wake up my friend and tell him what happened. He dismisses it and calls me a pussy, says it's probably a kangaroo or something. I say, what about that smell? And his response is, for fuck's sake, I can't smell anything, just go to sleep. And it's the next day, on New Year's Eve. The night before his incident, semi-forgotten, I decided it probably was just a kangaroo that rolled in something dead or something like that. My friend says that by now there's no chance of us finding some other accommodation, so we should just stay here again for that night. But during the day, let's go to the beach. So we're getting the motorbike ready when this fucking random guy walks into the clearing. I nearly shit myself because I thought it was like a forest protection guy, but he wasn't wearing the uniform. He introduces himself as Jack, says he's camping out here illegally too, and can't believe he found other people. He says he heard the motorbike last night, but came and checked this morning and that his camp was a little over 300 meters away. And we talked to him for a while. He seems like an alright guy. He asks us how we met. It's actually a funny story. We met because we found out we were dating the same girl, and instead of fighting each other for the 2-timing slut, we ended up becoming good mates. He laughs, and we tell him we're going to the beach for the day and coming back, but we probably won't find the same spot, so I guess this is goodbye. And he says, I wouldn't be so sure of that. Humans have an excellent sense of direction when they need it. And something about that statement just creeped me the fuck out, like how he said humans and not our. We go to the beach for the day and meet some chicks, but that's not really relevant for the story. We're coming back around 4 p.m. and we go off the road once again. Make a little way in and find a clearing, and my friend says this is the exact same clearing we were at before, but it definitely wasn't. Another clearing had a tree stump on the side, and this one doesn't, but my friend says there wasn't a tree stump at the other one. And then suddenly Jack appears again. He tells us that this isn't the same clearing, but it's nearby, and his camp is pretty close to us now, and that's how he knew where we were. So my friend is talking to Jack about camping stuff. I tell him I need to go to the toilet. I'm walking out into the woods, and I decide to try and find Jack's campsite. He wasn't lying about it being close. I stumbled upon it after like 100 meters. It was so messy. There were pots and stuff lying all over the place. The tent zipper was halfway down, which any camper knows not to do because bugs get in. I noticed there was no car or anything, and draw the conclusion he must hike or something. Suddenly noticed that smell. It was the same smell I noticed the night before. I start getting this instinctual fear, and I start backing away to go back the way I came. I hear this deafening screech come from somewhere in the distance ahead of me, like no other animal or human sound I've ever heard. I hear it again, and it's closer. I'm so scared, and I sprint towards camp. I hear a voice somewhere to the right of me. "Hey kid, hold up, I heard it too." It's Jack's voice. I don't stop or look, I just keep running. I burst into the clearing and see my friend. I'm really upset, so he knows I'm not making this shit up, and he listens to my story. He tells me that Jack told him he was leaving and that he had gone back to his campsite 10 minutes ago. I say that's impossible because I saw the campsite and it was all messy and Jack wasn't there, and I heard him in the woods. My friend says Jack was probably in the middle of packing up and went for a piss when I was at his camp, and then I definitely imagine his voice in the woods, and the screech was just some animal in distress. I say, look, why don't we go check his campsite together? I don't want to, but after some convincing I lead the way. We get to Jack's clearing and everything is gone. My friend smirks at me and says he has to go piss and wait here because he doesn't know the way back. He disappears into the bushes. This is normal for him. He hates pissing in front of other people. Suddenly, see this flash of white I hadn't noticed before. I look up. It's a ripped t-shirt hanging from a tree branch. It has blood on it. I start freaking out again and yell for my friend. I hear that fucking screech again. I sprint. Somehow end up going a different direction to the campsite, so I stop after about 200 meters, otherwise I'll get too lost. I'm panting and I'm sitting there for about 5 minutes before I hear this weird kind of high-pitched sound. It becomes clearer. I realize it's my friend's voice calling my name. I feel relieved. I call out to him and we find each other through the sound of our voices. I said, "Did you hear that fucking screech? It's the same one I heard at Jack's camp." He says, "Yeah, I did. Weird, right? Do you know where our camp is from here?" I said I know the general direction, and we end up back at the camp. I tell him about the white shirt. He agrees that it's creepy. Well, at least Jack is gone now. We can spend tonight here. I get that instinctual feeling again, like I had at Jack's camp. I said, "Nah, man, we should get out of here. This place is creeping me out." And then my friend suddenly gets really angry. "What the hell? I can't believe you're going to back out of something just because you think it's a bad situation. Remember when we first met and that girl was playing with both of us? But instead of fighting each other, we turned that bad situation around and became friends." I think this is a really weird thing to say, like it didn't really fit into the context of what was going on, you know? I said, "Nah, I really think we should leave. We hardly have any food or water left as well. Why don't we just go back to Ballarat and hang around with Jesse and them?" And he finally agrees. "Before we go, can you just come with me into the woods for a sec? I need a pee, but that fucking screech scared the shit out of me." I kind of follow him a few steps until my brain clicks. Start smelling a whiff of that foul scent again, and I remember that my friend is the kind of guy who needs privacy when he pisses, even if he's scared. "Nah, dude, just fucking hold it in. I don't want to go anywhere but out of these woods." He reluctantly agrees, and we pack up the tent. Mostly me doing the work. He's just sitting and watching me, which is weird because it's his shit, and he's really protective over his camping gear. I pack the saddlebag for the bike and wait for him to get on. He gives me this weird look. "Can't you ride this time?" I'm feeling really weird now. Tell him he knows I can ride, but I don't have my license. He says, "I'm really tired. Can you just ride today? We'll be fine." I agree. I just want to get the fuck out of there. He gets on behind me and puts his hands tightly around my waist, which he knows you don't need to do because we have a back plate. So I check the compass, and after a while we get onto the road, and after an hour I pull over because we'll be getting on the highway soon. I tell him we need a switch just in case I get pulled over. He gets on, but asks where we're going. And I can't believe this. I tell him we're going back to his house. So I ended up having to direct him back. I knew now that something seriously weird was going down with him, and he also knew that I knew this because what person forgets where they live? So basically, I got the fuck out of his house when we got there because I couldn't stand to be in the same room as him anymore. On the trip, things like clicked together in my brain, like how he only knew things after I said them, and how he only knew about how we met because we had told Jack, and Jack definitely was involved in this somehow. And also, he's been really different since that camping trip. Like, he has this dog, which he's had for 12 years, and he loves that dog. It's his best friend, and when we got to his house, he didn't even greet it or pat it, and that is seriously not right for him. Also, he's a really social guy, and our Ballarat mate said that on New Year's Eve night, he didn't go out at all. And when I was leaving his house, he didn't try and convince me to stay or anything, and my real friend would have. But I think whoever it is now knew at that point that I knew what was going on. Friends have said in passing that when they've gone to his house, sometimes it smells disgusting, and they always describe it as rotting meat, like something had died in there. Apparently, he would always say a possum had died in the ceiling, which isn't uncommon, but given this situation, it seems a bit too coincidental.